Okay. Hi, everyone. This is Sue Orchard, and welcome to Listening for What's Possible, a video podcast about all things leadership development. I'm joined by a very special guest. He is a mental health specialist, trainer, and coach, and he happens to also be my brother. So, welcome, Keith Orchard.
Thanks, Sue Orchard. Thanks for having me. It's a pleasure to be here.
Well, I'm thrilled to have you on. Actually, my first video podcast. And so, before we actually dive in to hearing a little bit more about your work and what you do to empower others, I'm curious if you would be willing to share with us a little bit about maybe something that you've been doing, something you've been working on, or something you're enjoying in your free time.
Let's see. Dropped my son off at college for his sophomore year. That's a big life change. The other son's going to have a baby in 5 months. So here we go. The next phase of life is coming. To keep myself busy, I'm learning to play pickleball. Been doing that for a little bit, and it's really fun to get better at something at this age, which is and been kind of a fun thing to do.
Yeah. Well, congratulations. I happen to know both of your sons, and they are both amazing young men. You should be proud of them. And incredible influence from both a mother and a father that are incredible folks.
One of the two aunties was really awesome.
Yes, I agree. We won't talk about our sister. We will later when the camera's off. Anyway, no. Yeah. So, congratulations on that. That's wonderful family news.
Thank you.
I love that growth mindset. Continuing to get better at something or just
Mm,
finding joy in your life. I also
yeah.
happen to love pickleball. I
Yeah.
don't know that I could say I'm getting better at it though. Well, Keith, you are a licensed clinical social worker. You are a trainer, a facilitator, an educator. You actually help educators get better at doing what they do and working with at-risk youth and with youth in general. And you're also you are about to publish your first book. Is that right?
That's right.
Yeah.
Just in about 4 weeks, the my first book comes out. It's a workbook because I don't know, writing a book is hard. I don't know if you knew that. A lot of words, so many words. And but really my goal is to make it really practical so a teacher could pick it up and use it and get better at what they do by going through a step-by-step process. So I'm super excited about it.
Yeah. Congratulations. That's phenomenal and really important too. And I'm wondering, like coaching, developing, training, what is it about that drew you to that kind of work?
I don't know. Well, when I was a sophomore in high school, and if anyone asked, I said, I'm going to be a teacher and
Mm.
a coach. That's what I wanted to be because the most influential people in my life were my teachers and my coaches. They were amazing, helped raise me and teach me all sorts of really important stuff and made me feel good about myself. And I wanted to do that for others. So I was drawn to it from an early age. And I've spent my entire career either teaching kids directly or becoming a social worker and working with kids and families. And now I teach and coach the adults how to work with the kids. And it's just always been focused on kids or teens. And that's just what I was made to do, I think. Always wanted to do it.
Yeah. Well, as your younger sibling, and I will emphasize younger, I had the personal experience of actually being mentored and coached by you most of my life. And I can say that you are very good at it. And you do that with your kids, and you do that with other people's kids, and you do that with adults. And you're very skilled at it. And people are very lucky when they get to work with you. So thank you for that, personally and just professionally as a colleague, because it's really important to have good folks who are really dedicated to helping people develop.
Well, as your very slightly older brother, that is very kind. And I say thank you.
You're welcome. Well, so we invited you here today to talk about one very specific topic related to helping teachers, educators, leaders be more effective in the workplace, and that's the topic of safety or felt safety. What is it about that topic that really intrigues you?
Well, not that anything is so simple as that there's one answer, but kinda foundationally, the beginning of all the problems or all the things we're trying to do starts with felt safety, whether it's a parent or a teacher or a supervisor and a leader. If you can kind of create a safe environment, but if people don't feel safe in that environment for whatever reason, they're going to have a really hard time doing well, performing, and being in relationship with you or just in general. And so
Mhm.
felt safety is the underlying principle that kind of guides all the stuff that I do.
Mhm. Yeah, one aspect of that really stands out is this idea that people have to feel it. They have to like experience the environment as being one where they can be vulnerable, where they can share, where they can offer ideas or opinions or their experiences, their feelings. And I think that the other piece of that is they have to believe also that I'm going to put my trust in you as my coach, my teacher, my leader, my organization, that I can be candid, that I can be vulnerable. That those are some really key components of that sense of safety in our workplaces and in our schools.
Right. Yeah. What we say is that if a kid doesn't feel safe, they have a really hard time learning. But that's true for the teachers. Not only can't they learn, but with coworkers or with leadership, if they don't feel safe, they're going to have a really hard
Mhm.
time solving problems together. And so that's why it underlies all of those is an important concept.
What do you think some of the challenges are for leaders or teams in creating that sense of safety in the workplace?
Well, there's a lot. The first one is people have histories, and some people come to relationships and environments not naturally feeling safe, and it can be hard to build. And that's not about you, but you have to deal with that and work your best. What you have control over is how you show up to create that environment because safety can be earned, it can be grown and increased. And the other hard part is that it can be lost really quickly. And so that makes it hard to be
Mhm.
really consistent and predictable and safe over and over through hundreds of repetitions without ruining it. And so it's a challenge no matter who you're working with, I think.
So ultimately, it comes down to the leaders to create the conditions or the environment in which there is that sense of felt safety, right? That they
Yeah.
that they are needing to model that in their day to day behaviors and their actions. They need to set clear norms and expectations around what that means for them and others to behave in those ways, and probably to help people practice those skills because it's not one that I think many of us just naturally know how to do effectively.
I think you named it. Like the first thing is when people ask, and like a school principal or a leader will say, "What do I do on my team? Like we're really struggling." Well, the first thing is you named it is develop agreements because norms happen. Whether you've expressed them or not, whether you write them down or talk about them, they happen. And so, which ones do you have in your work? And so we find that it's a great place to start by saying, "Hey, here's what we can all agree to when things are going well and when they're not going well." And then the second part, you go, okay, when they're not going well, what are we going to do about it? So we have norms and agreements. That's good. But it turns out some people are conflict avoidant. And when they're really uncomfortable with conflict. And so then that's when the coaching comes in place and the teaching for how to have hard conversations that are productive, where people can still stay safe, even when we're talking about tough stuff. And then, of course, it doesn't always go well. You can do those things, have good norms, teach the skills, practice the skills, and sometimes it still doesn't go great. And that's where the repair comes in. And then because it doesn't have to go great all the time. You don't have to be perfect, but without repair and circling back and going back to it and working on the relationship, then trust can be eroded and all that good work up front might not pay off for you.
And what does repair look like? Can you give us an example of how one would repair when if trust is broken or safety is broken?
Yeah. I mean, repair can look like a lot of different things. Most people think it's an apology. It's not always an apology because sometimes people didn't mess up. Really, I don't have anything to apologize for. We were both left upset though, which means we need to talk about it and come back and just say, send the message that one, what you heard me say might not have been what I was intending. And if I intended something poor, that's when I do apologize. But also just coming back on the same page and sending the message that, look, this relationship matters to me, even if we disagree. And can we keep coming back to it? Either solving the problem. Turns out a lot of problems aren't solvable, though. I don't know if you know this from Gottman's marriage therapy. I don't remember the number, but it's like 70 plus percent of all problems in marriage never go away. And that's for successful marriages. So it's not that the problems has to be solved because in a lot of cases they're not. But if people come back, repair, connect, and say, "Look, you're important to me, even though we disagree on this," then the relationships can still be good and healthy safe, and you can still move forward even if that particular problem isn't resolved per se.
And perhaps even through repair, we actually may enhance that sense of safety because we're willing to commit to doing that hard work to apologize or have difficult conversations or work through conflict. And ultimately the benefits are that people have a better sense of belonging. They feel like they can maybe be more authentically themselves, share more of their ideas or opinions, be more creative in the workplace. Incredible things can emerge from that when we are able to condition or create the conditions or the environment for that safety.
Yeah, I agree with you 100%.
Yeah.
Karen Purvis, she's the founder of TBRI, which is Trust Based Relational Intervention, a program for foster youth and adopted youth. So kids who have had really, really hard backgrounds or and broken attachments. And she says that it's better to rupture and repair than not to rupture at all. Yeah. So it's not that rupturing, fighting, conflict isn't a good thing. It's actually better if you have a conflict and repair it. It does bring you closer together. It does increase trust by you doing that. So it's not the conflict that's a problem. It's how you handle it and whether you come back and repair it and make that relationship okay afterwards.
Yeah. That's pretty profound because I think, like, as you kind of alluded to before, many of us are conflict avoidant, either because of our backgrounds or are afraid of it or don't
Yeah.
have the skills or the tools to do that. But in fact, we want to engage in some healthy conflict and in fact, can make us a lot stronger when we do.
Amen, sister.
Yeah, that's right. All right, Keith. Well, is there anything else you want to share with us before our time ends today?
Well, usually what it comes down to, when I'm in front of teachers or something, and they're going, "Okay, I've got to work on relationship with my kids, and I have to repair when it doesn't go well," all those kind of things. Many of my sessions and the coaching comes into working on the adult. And they go, "Why? I mean, the kid's got all the problems and behaviors. The adult's doing fine, right?" You go, "Well, maybe, but what we can control is ourselves and how we show up." And it's just back to TBRI. They don't allow you to become a practitioner if you haven't done your own work. They do an adult attachment inventory, and if you score a certain way on that, they will politely decline that you take the training or become a practitioner at this point, because they say you've got some work to do. And if you haven't done your own work to know who you are and what you bring to the table, and get a handle on some of your buttons and insecurities, working with really hard kids or stressful environments or with hard adults won't go very well. You won't be great for them and they won't be great for you. And so being healthy as a leader is probably the most important thing and truly the one thing that we can control. And so that's just a really important piece. So I appreciate what you're doing, educating people, and we're all just trying to get a little bit better and keep working on ourselves.
That's right. I wish we could require that for more leaders to make sure that they're working on our stuff. We all need to be working on our stuff because we all
Yeah.
have it, and
Yep.
none of us are immune from having to do some deep work and be healthy in order to be present and available for our teams as well.
That's right.
Yeah.
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 Well said.
Well, Keith, you do amazing work out there in your consulting and coaching practice. How can people find you?
Yeah, well, I'm Keith Orchard on LinkedIn is a great place, or my website, which is coachorchard.com. Come find me, ask me. I'm happy to talk about any of this. And so would love to talk with you.
That's fantastic. Well, thank you, Keith. And if folks would like to follow me as well, I'm at sueorchardconsulting.com. Keith, it is an absolute joy to talk with you always. And I mean this literally. I do love you. I love spending time with you. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm
You're the
proud of
best,
you.
bro. I love you and I'm proud of you. Good work. Keep going.
Yeah, likewise. Okay.
Thanks.
All right.
Bye.